What's good? What's poppin'? Welcome to another episode. What is this? Episode 3?
Whatever episode it is.
Welcome to the Unknown Unknowns podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. You already know what to do. Hit us on the IG, unknown, period, unknowns. Replace the O with a 0 and the S with a 5. Hit us up. Let us know what y'all think. First, I got to get into it, okay? Warning. This episode may cause wheezing, tightness in the chest or throat, trouble breathing, swallowing, or talking, unusual hoarseness or swelling of the mouth, face, lips, tongue, or throat, signs of low sodium levels such as headaches, trouble focusing, memory problems, feeling confused, weak, seizures, or a change in balance, signs of bleeding like throwing up or coughing up blood, vomit that looks like coffee grounds, blood in your urine, black or red or tarry stools, bleeding from the gums, abnormal vaginal bleeding. Like I can't even do it no more. I can't. Listen, y'all. Listen, the main focus of this episode is what'll kill you. Come on. Welcome to the hole, the abyss.
Black hole.
You already know what it is. We're here. We actually had a guest today who's gonna put us on the game. He got a little bit of inside track. It's me, your host, Shady Cartier, Mobius always.
Hello.
And
Chile.
Chile. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Listen. I mean, come on. What do you think about that? That's a real medication, by the way, guys. Paroxetine.
What don't kill you make you stronger?
Hydrochloride. Paroxetine will do all of those things and more to you. It'll cure what ails you.
Maybe.
If you don't
die first.
Right? You already know. Listen. It's crazy. It's crazy out here. So, we just had to get into it. I mean, this is what you're being prescribed out here. You really got to read your medication, guys. It's very important to pay attention to what you're taking, what kind of doctor you have, and how they prescribe medications. Is it all willy-nilly?
Or
I don't take medication. What's the point? It's unnecessary.
As he likes to blow. Excuse me.
I self-medicate. I don't take medication. I self-medicate.
Warning: may cause sleepiness, light euphoria.
And you know I'm gonna have a rib after this.
Extreme hunger.
Just to put the umph on this, I just say,
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. So we hit you up with the one drug that you probably definitely shouldn't take, unless it's a life or death situation. And so I'm gonna go ahead and top it off with something a little bit more positive. Chlorella. Did I say it right?
Corolla.
Not Corolla.
You said it right. Chlorella.
Chlorella. There we go. Listen. Look this up, guys. It is a plant. I recommend plants. I recommend everything naturally grown from this earth.
Plants are good. Plants are very good.
Very important. So we're going to go over a couple things. Chlorella is used to increase good bacteria in the intestine in order to improve digestion and to help treat ulcers, colitis, Crohn's disease, and a bunch of other stuff. As a medicine, chlorella is also used in preventing cancer, reducing radiation treatment side effects, stimulating the immune system, improving responses to flu vaccine. Listen. Improving responses to the flu vaccine. You probably shouldn't have been taking that drone in the first place.
It all depends on what an improved response is.
I feel like that means your antibodies are going to step their game up as opposed to
If it's a good thing.
Improving the response. No, I think you took it and it failed you and you step out here. Oh, I could have just said that. You fucked up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't like it. But this is going to help you. It increases the white blood cells. That's important, especially if you got HIV. I mean, that's real talk. Prevents colds, protects the body against toxic metals such as lead and mercury. Listen, I've been taking this shit for like 2 years. So I'm just trying to put y'all on the
Do you
games.
smoke it?
Do you smoke? Listen,
Can you roll it?
I don't think it works like that. So I don't have that information. And I'm really sorry, guys, that I don't. I was taking the pills, but listen, after going to school for pharmacy, I could tell y'all, is the absorption rate with pills. You only get like 35 to 55% of the main active ingredient. So obviously, pills and the cooked up version of anything isn't the best way. I advise you to grow it. I don't even know where you go get the seeds from, but I mean,
why don't they just take it and put it in a multivitamin or something?
I mean, yeah, that's where I got it. Go online, look that joint up. CHLORELLA. Get with it. Now, in my household, we call them joints the green pills. And every time somebody gets sick, they be like,
"Oh, that's the
man.
You keep." Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's okay. You hear Mobius? Okay,
Plant pills.
Exactly. I need somebody to put in on the pill collection because I ran out. Yeah, exactly. Like for real. Listen, when niggas was getting sick, what was they calling? They was like, "Can I get some of them pills?"
I didn't even call you. I just showed up. It was like, help.
I'm dying. Like
I was good a couple hours later.
Boom. Here goes some tea. Here goes some green pills.
A mean ass nap. Yeah, man. I lost my voice. That was January, and I lost my voice for like a week after that. But
you probably had COVID.
There's a distinct possibility of that.
Because I was sick around the same time period.
And I got
it from working in the hospital cleaning a BiPAP, a hospital BiPAP. Mm-hmm. I hate to say this shit, but some of them parents, like kids that come in there, the machines that they hooked up to for their breathing, for their baby, they don't really take care of them Jones. You look on the inside, it'd be like mold, man. And so the one that I came across, I felt guilty about it. Like anybody else would have just they would just crank that jump and make sure it turned on and it was safe. But something struck me. I was like, man, I got 2 kids at home, and if they don't think this shit is hurting their fucking kid, I can't clean the fucking hose. So maybe I clean the machine. So I took it to the back and started rinsing that shit out. And I swear to you, on everything I love, it was like, pow, like right on my fucking lip. The next day,
bump.
I was cleaning that shit, and some of the water jumped on my face. And within like a day, I was hoarse, like you said, for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. The shit went away, came back. I had to finish my antibiotics. Mm-hmm. I got my whole office sick. I got my whole household sick. But guess what? Gave you bitches the antibodies. You wouldn't be alive, motherfuckers, if it wasn't for me.
Shit.
For me.
All right, well, let's go. God who created life and the earth. Let's give a shout out to him. Also, let's give a shout out to Chile for doing everything to save the childrens. Okay. All right, that's real love though. That's for real. Like this real life out here. You already know. Mm-hmm. You already know. This the black experience. So we gonna get into it. Y'all out here popping these pills just because they wrote you a prescription. You running up in these hospitals and you think this shit is sweet, and he telling you dead ass this shit ain't even clean for real. They might have the room looking clean. The machine dirty as shit.
It was the machine that the parents bring in because it's a requirement if your kid comes into the hospital, it's written in that we have to check your baby's BiPAP or CPAP or vent for safety.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then
so y'all don't like swap them out?
Look, it's a way for us to mitigate risk, because if your child is going to be hooked on your child's vent or breathing machine in our hospital, we need to make sure that it's safe. For
won't short out or anything. Yeah.
Right. All the alarms work. They cut on, cut off when they're supposed to. Your battery got some life in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that before we give it back to you. Nigga, I gotta put my initials on that bitch, and the day I touch it, put a work order in and pass some shit to the nurse. She gotta sign off. It's like,
it's not a game.
It's overkill.
Okay, I like the process. I like it.
But I'm just saying, like,
it's to make sure.
I think just the stress of the parents being in that situation with a child that's immobile, kind of puts them in a place where they just say, I'm doing my best, stay alive. But in truth, just come across that shit, it made me want to throw up.
Wow. And then everybody got the sauce off of it.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to the
G.O.D.
germs from the Mucinex commercial. They ain't shit.
Word.
You know what I'm talking about? Everybody know what I'm talking about.
I was like The Walking Dead.
Bruh.
I ain't take no days off.
Sauce the flip up, bro. Alright, so what's up? Current events. Trump.
Alright. He went,
Agent Orange.
Well, he went on I saw a short clip. He had like a conference. It was like a talk to the country type conference where a bunch of people asked him questions.
He does that on Twitter all the time.
Yeah, but this was like a forum where they had actual people in the room with him.
Pretend to care. Nice.
Yeah, maybe they were selected to make, because they thought they would make him look good, but they... Fox or some station was like, they ambushed him in the town hall meeting or whatever. He was supposed to answer these questions and be all presidential, know the answer to a bunch of them. And they were like, so why don't you wear masks? And when you do wear masks, how come you're not telling us to wear masks? You should federalize the order to wear masks. And he was like, well, actually, that was Vice President Biden's job, or whoever was the last vice president. That was his job, and it was Obama's fault. Blah blah blah. I actually wear masks from time to time. Blah blah blah. People's like, wait, what? No, that's not how this works.
I can't. Okay, I have no words for that. What do you have to say about that? Chile.
I just think about the overall situation, how, in health, you saw that African Americans were more affected by it because we didn't have access to health care. But, when Barack Obama tried to globalize health care for everybody in the United States of America, the Republicans kicked back, and then...
Too much money!
Now we suffer from it, It's just, everything just kind of works on their behalf, like... You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate for. And I celebrate the victim, and I look forward to the challenge.
Y'all anything. Anyway. Screw this guy, the president. All I want to say is I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, the moves that he makes regularly and how he likes to blame everyone else for his very shitty mistakes.
It's little dick shit.
It's gosh, I like it. Not the little dick shit. Yeah, the slogan. Anyway, put that on the t-shirt. Lit. Get the unknown. Listen, go check out our marketplace on Instagram. Okay, guys, check out the marketplace. Get the t-shirt. Don't make little dick moves.
No LDS.
Coming soon. No LDS. Okay, because it's not really cute. No LDS. It'll be like a tiny pickle on there or a tiny banana. You could choose which one you like. We're gonna trademark that right now. Get on the phone. Trademark that Mobius. Okay, so the last thing I want to say about our shitty Agent Orange is that current events. I mean, he's pressing the pharmaceutical companies to hurry up and come up with this vaccine for COVID. I mean, we already saw what happened when he hinted at a drug. that could possibly help you with COVID, and people was like, "Oh, my dog takes that," and then they almost died.
Bleach.
Like we already know,
UV
and so I'm like,
lights.
I'm disgusted and extremely concerned about any vaccine. Period. But like, you rushing that shit to get done?
It's all gone already. Like $15 billion worth of it already
Of
gone.
what?
Of the vaccine.
The elites
Have already pressed out. The richest countries have already pressed out for when it comes out to get $15 billion.
Oh yeah, of course, but that's the only reason why it's getting
And the
made
thing about it is,
in the first place. That's the only reason why it's getting made.
My buddy was driving somewhere.
That's why.
And I'm trying to, without divulging too much information, there was a head of state vehicle driving down the street past him. It was from South Korea, but without saying where he was when he drove past it. So yeah, I believe it. You know, the tit for tat. Or is it quid pro quo? They gave us they gave our state some vaccinations and some masks and some other stuff, and then they possibly get this in return, or what they think is the vaccine. The Russians got it first, maybe. We don't know, but I believe it.
You know,
It's not too far-fetched.
What, did the rich get everything?
Well, no, it's just that it's all, he's saying billions of dollars worth of it's already gone, so...
Oh, cool. Like on the reserve list,
Yeah.
of course. But I mean, my concern is like the test, though. Like, of course, there are going to be the few rich people who are like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm about to die right now. Give me that shit that you're testing, and we don't know whether that shit work or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already know they're on the board. They're in the play.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. They get to test it first and die if that shit don't work. But like, I'm just very concerned. Period. Like, it's supposed to take what, like 3.5 years of testing, preclinical testing.
18 months.
Okay, like
It's
3.5
already been-
years, and then there's the investigational process, the phase 1 clinical trials, phase 2, phase 3. I think is like making sure the effects of the drug. Like, it's all these different phase 4. Like, it's too fucking much, bro. And at the end of the day, it's like, what? That's at least 12 years right there. When I was in pharmacy school, it was like, it took a drug to come out 20 years.
they cut corners.
Because they wanted to see, like, even after the 3.5 years of testing, you still need to come back 10 to 15 years later and be like, yo, so y'all fucked up?
They gonna cut corners.
Are you fucked up?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of people that's going to die behind this shit, like, not from COVID, but from the vaccine.
Yep.
In
Not me
5
and
to
mine.
10 years from now. And then have children with birth defects.
Like, they gonna do some shit where they gonna make it so, like,
Sterilization.
you gotta take it.
Yeah. Mandatory
Whether they
vaccination.
do it through your
They've
job.
been doing that with the schools, man.
Yeah, they do it through
I'm
school.
scared, bro. Like, I'm dead ass scared. They real life locking parents up for homeschooling their kids. Because in certain states and counties, when they apply for the homeschooling, because they're so against the shit, they was just like, no.
I don't know nothing about that.
Like, that shit is crazy. Because she ain't want them to have to do all that.
Mm.
Because they force you to take the fucking shots. Like, well,
I mean, like, those immunization shots, when my kids, we held out a year. You know, like,
as
in
long
my-
as possible.
no, we just, it's about that, giving them the opportunity to make that developmental step. Because what you'll see sometimes in your children, you know what I'm saying, they'll make that developmental step. It'll happen for like a week and then they'll go back to where they were. Like, you literally, that's when you be like, you come in the house, you be like, damn, how the hell you learn all this shit? What? Now you're a baby again. You can't put up your pants?
Mm-hmm.
They go through that. They go through that phase. And so, like, that age range where they like 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 and they're supposed to be getting their immunizations, some of the most dangerous ones, or just all in general, we just say, you know what, our kids don't go to daycare. They don't go anywhere, so it's no point. We held out a whole year because we had autism on both sides of our families, you know.
So y'all was paying attention.
Yeah. You know, so we said, if these immunizations have anything to do with this and I got a decision to make, it's my household, This is my system I got. I'm going to wait. So we waited. Shit, to me, it paid off. My little man snapping.
Mm-hmm.
My baby girl snapping too.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. It's a really touchy subject. It's a really touchy subject. And I just learned this, I guess, like over the past year, like last year, dealing with my stepson. It's just yeah, it's a big deal. I really don't trust the flu vaccine. I really don't.
And this year,
I trust DNA.
you really kind of got to get it.
I mean, fudged up. I ain't having it for years, and I am.
Well, I mean, like, you're in a different situation.
Me, and I have allergies. So anything makes me sick.
I got allergies. I got asthma.
I get sick every day.
You got a dog, a duck. You ain't allergic to shit. Except
I am. I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to bullshit.
My emergency emotional support duck. No, get out.
No bullshit. Get out. Thank you, squad. Anyways, oh my goodness. Okay, so back to the topic, yo. What'll kill you? So yeah, I mean, we just kind of touched on it. I feel like vaccines what'll kill you. Vaccines. But listening to the wrong doctors. And then what are doctors essentially supposed to be?
Paid professionals.
Or experts. And so that brings us to the question, what makes you an expert? We Googled it. Would you like to take a guess at how many hours of, field work do you need to be an expert?
80,000
in the subject. 80,000 hours to be an expert. He got high expectations, don't
I
he?
do.
You really do. Well, welcome to America. The expectations is low, ladies and gentlemen.
Metric system not here.
10,000 hours.
That's so cheap as the field.
It's 10,000 hours or 10 years of practice.
How boring. So
how many hours is in a year? You know what I'm saying? So 10,000 doesn't sound like a lot. No. I didn't do the math. How many hours is in a year?
If it's 24 hours in a day, 240 hours in 10 days.
Yes, 8760. What? Okay. So there are 8,760 hours in a year. So
that's not 10 years.
I guess that's what I'm saying though. But it's 10,000 hours
it's
or
working
10
hours.
years.
Oh,
so it's working.
It's
yeah,
working
exactly.
hours.
Okay. So yeah, that's why I said.
Let's say you work a 12-hour shift.
Then you getting it out the way. You're fucking getting out of there. You work a 12-hour shift. You're a fucking expert in no time.
I was a 10.
You're an expert in no time. You are an expert in your field. For how many years did you do that?
I've been doing this since 2005. We can calculate this shit
up. See, you the shit. You the expert. You can literally put it on your card somewhere that you're an expert.
I do give my professional opinion.
Yes, the expertise. Anyway, oh my gosh.
I premise it too.
This is all mine. Like, oh my gosh. So listen, the point is, like, that's fucked up because we didn't look at that before. That is 8,760 hours in a year, ladies and gentlemen. Now that you know, we did not look that shit up. That means, like, realistically, you could get to 10,000 hours in like 2 or 3 years.
Huh? That should be extremely uncomfortable.
What's that? Medical malpractice?
Like you mean working to get that or what?
Yeah, I mean, like, that shit has to come organically because, like, sometimes you be working like that, you work 4 or 5 days straight and then you crash.
You burn out. Yeah. I mean, but that's why I said like 2 or 3 years because you have to be smart the way you stress that out so you don't. But when you're just starting, come on, if you add like the externship hours.
I think that shit
you know what I'm talking about. Your first 2 years of working. Come on, like
it's about exposure and retention.
Yeah,
but that's ridiculous though. That's just ridiculous, though. That makes you. I mean, I didn't look at like what makes you a professional, but it's just the point is like, is it so easily? Is it too easily attained to be called an expert or a professional in the field? And so, just because you got 10,000 hours, should I really trust you to know what the fuck you're talking about?
The thing of it is, it's like everything and everybody is a database in the system.
Mm-hmm.
System of the heart.
Matrix head ass.
I'm just saying. You know,
We got
certain
Mobius
things
Matrix head ass.
Morpheus. I commonly get called Morpheus.
Morpheus.
That is not where that. Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm just saying.
What are you saying? Where do you fit in the Matrix?
I mean, it's like if you work on cars, you have to know every part of a car. If you work on hearts, you need to know every part of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit's going to be a little bit more complicated than working on a car.
Oh yeah.
So, you have to put in more hours.
I mean, you can specialize
I don't
in
know
certain
what you
areas,
do.
but it's like, at the very least, there should be like a baseline of information. Once you get into medical stuff, it's like,
Don't nobody want a young surgeon.
yeah.
Bro,
How long have
if
you
that's
been doing
what
this?
I'm saying. If that's what I'm saying, then he be like, nah, I'm an expert. And you be looking at that man like, young,
You were 26.
it took you 2.5 years. That's he is my prime example of why I don't
Are
trust
you
this
a
guy.
genius?
You are 24 years old, a genius.
It's like my dentist that fucked me over.
Story time.
He was a young dentist. Story time.
So-
Story time.
I say,
So they gotta
I'm
get
about to separate from the military. Fuck this bullshit. I'm going to get my wisdom teeth pulled out early. So, me and my booby cakes, we go down there. They put me under anesthesia.
fucking booby cakes.
She hold my hand. She watch my back. Then they send her to the back. They knock me out. I wake up. You know, the nurse, she managed to get, you know, one tooth out, maybe the other tooth. You know, they studied me like some science and shit. They was like, look at this, look at this. Look how his tooth all fucked up. I was like, you bastards. You know? Like I'm some sort of science experiment. So when they get back to a certain tooth and whatnot, they like, man, we can't get this. And this other big white motherfucker come in there. And I'm looking at this motherfucker, and all of a sudden the gas turns up. And I go to sleep. And when I wake up, I got this pain in my chest, like my collarbone. So in my mind, this motherfucker had his knee in my chest. You know? And I do believe that, you know, like, you know, sometimes you fight in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe I swung at him, because when I looked at him, that motherfucker ran. But, you know, that's a professional.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he got the job done. He just so happened to almost fuck me up too.
Bruh.
We gonna get this money. Professional at getting a money.
Professional. I mean, like he did his job. You know, I looked at that little. He was short.
I'm
He
not
was
with that
short
shit.
too. He was short and stocky. I was looking at his forearms. I was like, what the fuck? Why'd they call you?
I have
I
several
can't.
questions. Oh, pass now.
Like they sense me getting nervous. I was like, hey, yeah, who
I
is you?
have several questions. Immediately, this
Yo.
gas is really great.
Y'all remember,
Hold on. So I had that happen to me like real quick, but there was no gas. There was no passing out. He just stuck his hand on my eye to reinforce what he was doing in my mouth. My contact came out. I left the dentist blind.
Damn.
Like, what the are you talking about? My contacts was not even cheap back then. These was fresh look color blends. If y'all know what's up, shout out to overpriced contact lenses. Like,
Going to the
vanity.
dentist
Like, oh my gosh.
and
So
getting
disrespectful.
your
And getting punched in the mouth,
getting punched in the mouth,
busted lip.
busted lip.
Bleeding lip, like, you
At
know
the
how they
dentist?
give you the shot and then your lip be swollen? No, he did work up here and he bust me up my bottom lip. I left out my bottom lip was swollen, bleeding.
That's little dick shit.
Ooh! L-D-S. I can't. I fucking can't. It most certainly is, sir. And that brings us to the
You
second
gonna
half
mangle a
of the
woman's face at the dentist?
of the podcast.
Damn.
Like, dentists ain't I mean, not dentists ain't shit. Physicians who take the voucher? What? Who take the fucking oath and they don't mean it are fucking trash. And I'm making it my duty to get in your ass. Now it rhymes, but I ain't do that on purpose. That was just, it's real life. Anyway, I need y'all to hit us on the IG. Hit us on the IG. We're to the main subject right here, guys. Let's get it. Now, my question for the guest. My question for you.
Chile.
Chile, I can't. Why do you think blacks, browns, brownies, tans, immigrants, foreigners in the United States don't trust doctors?
I think Western civilization just has not been kind to brown people in general. Point blank, period. 3/5 of a human being. Never having the right to vote, having to fight for everything you got, being pursued and not allowed to read. You are a fool if you trust him now. We can do square business, but I'll be damned if I close my eyes and hold your hand in the dark, bitch. We ain't going steady. We ain't going steady.
You ain't shit for that.
The Tuskegee Airmen incident. I mean, you shooting them guys up with syphilis and watching the epidemiology of them, body breakdown, deconstructed. It takes a sick human being to do something like that. And
shout out to evil scientists.
Word,
Nazi party.
Nazi. And so that's okay. So they go the sick side of it, right? There's the doctors or the scientists who are sick and want to do these experiments, and then there's the people all around them that hear no evil. See no evil. The Nazi.
It's like
party.
The cancer thing. The cancer thing is big.
Sick.
A lot of money going in cancer.
I was saying that earlier. Too much money, and where's it going that it ain't?
And people is dying regardless. I'm like, you come out, you go back into remission. Whoop, whoop. Your body can't take that strain.
It's not even just that, but the things that you're consuming every day is giving you the cancer. So why would the cancer ever go away? If the moves that you're making is giving you the cancer, is giving you the sickness. I mean, what did Dr. CB say? Shout out to big Dr. CB, rest in peace. Bro, he said, I would get on the phone with people and I would listen to everything that's wrong with them. I would make them tell me every day how you feel, what you going through, what you doing. But most importantly, what are you eating? And then he would tell them what to eat. And then they would feel better. And then when they get sick again, they call Dr. CB and he'd be like, well, what happened? And they'd be like, well, yeah, whoop-de-whoop. And he'd be like, okay, well, you still eating this stuff? And they like, nah. What? And you went back to the shit that you be on?
Did you ever try CMOS?
No, not yet. Ain't it like expensive? I want some. I mean, I gotta place my Chlorella.
Chlorella.
I wonder
Mobius ain't shit.
if that's on his list of electric food.
Yeah, that's what his son said with his name all over it.
Chlorella?
Oh no. Oh, you mean talking about the Chlorella?
Yeah.
Oh no. Definitely the CMOS. Big shout out to CMOS. They saying it's saving lives, it's making difference. The Chlorella come from the sea too. It was some type of sea plant. Might be CMOS. I don't know. Whatever. So, I mean, it's just It's crazy. It's crazy. You came up with a lot of good reasons, you know, why we don't trust doctors, the history of the bullshit. Like, I got too many stories, you know. My mother got way too many stories. But the other part of it, let's get into that. The other part of it was the blacks who don't trust doctors versus the hypochondriacs. Now, growing up, I thought it was normal to be brown and not have health insurance. I thought that was a normal thing. Not going to doctors, not trusting doctors.
Robitussin. Everything.
Put some tussin on it. Put some Benadryl on it. Put catamine lotion on it.
You alright? Go to sleep. You'll be alright.
Right, like these was the medications. Like, what are you talking about? And take some aspirin. Like that was it. And drink some tea. Like this was it. Like what are you talking about? There was no.
I mean, like we used to like to stack the bread and like everything. Like if you was sick, it had to be like a dire need because you would deplenish, you know, like the family savings account
By
to take
going
you to the emergency
daggone hospital.
Yeah, I did that shit to my mom one time, fucking around some damn bushes.
Was it just poison ivy?
No, it was like they had them big stick barbs or some shit.
Oh.
And I got one of those like in my calf, and then like it got infected.
Ooh.
Oh, so she tried to deal with it herself, but she couldn't.
Man, I had pus coming out the leg and shit.
It was like, nah,
I had
to lose his leg.
Yeah, I was about to lose his leg, Shane. I had to get the antibiotics.
That's hilarious.
I was like 3rd, 4th grade, Southview.
Yeah, I had my foot busted open one time to the point where it was like bleeding and pussing, different color pus was coming out and all that. Yeah, I ain't never go to the hospital. Shout out to Black DNA. Shout out to G.O.D. Big G.O.D. Thanks for creating this one. Like, Slim, God, like, I ain't never broke nothing, though.
I broke
you know what I'm saying? Like, this guy did, but he was already living in the suburbs. So we had already parted ways when you had broke your arm. You was in the situation where, I mean, did you have health care? Or was he complaining about you emptying his pockets when y'all went to the hospital for your broke arm?
He worked for the feds. He
was
was just disappointed. How?
The circumstance.
If I told you a cooler story, would it help?
How did you break your arm?
No, we're not gonna do this.
I want to know.
We're not gonna do this live.
You said a cooler story. I want to hear this shit.
I'm gonna need y'all to tune in to the Unknowns After the Show podcast to find out how Mobius, the B-roll, how Mobius broke his arm. Shenanigansing. Like, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Do you know any hypochondriacs?
What's a hypochondriac?
Thank you. I meant to say the definition. A person who is abnormally anxious about their health. So it's the people who don't trust the doctors versus the people who always in the doctor's office.
Everybody in middle school.
My throat hurt.
Everybody in middle school.
I think I'm sick. That's because they was afforded fucking health care. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you grow up black with some health care and you be like, like, I don't feel good. What are you talking about? Yeah. I took a dump. Yeah. My dump was green. What the fuck are you talking about? You've been eating salads all week. You've been on a diet. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
Everybody in middle school with internet access, I should say.
Oh, well, that's because WebMD...
What's wrong with me?
That's because WebMD would often tell you that you're going to die. Shout out to WebMD. And, like, death threats, like death assumptions, early death assumptions. Like, people sitting on the sidelines is like, damn, I got that shit. Like, it's so many times I read that shit too. That I was like, dang, based on WebMD, I maybe should go to the hospital, but I'm real live not going to the hospital. Bro, like,
I remember I got sick one time and it fucked my shit up.
Your what? Your mom?
Nah, I got sick. I had mono.
Ew, what is that? Oh, from being in the.
I don't know. It's like they call it the
staph disease.
Yeah, it's like the
staph infection.
From being in the hospital.
They call it the kissing disease.
Oh, no. You was kissing bitches. But also, how do you get mono? It's got to be another way.
She was.
Ew.
She was.
That bump up
She
could
was
have
from
gave you
Eastern.
mono.
She was from Eastern.
Oh, nah.
She went to Eastern
That's
High School.
ratchet. That's ratchet. That's ratchet.
Scandalous.
Shout out to all schools and colleges on the water. There are some really sexual women in those locations. So I think we reached the mark to get into the poetry that I got fresh for you guys, fresh out the hot poetry oven. Thank you for the warm invitation. Okay. Big love to everybody on the podcast right now. We mean nothing. Deep inside to you. Toys and puppets, we cleave to you, hoping for more, working for better, living in fear. Circulated repeatedly, manifested, and yet they succeed. Our visuals only of death, pain, and well-deserved suffering. But mostly to ourselves. Our kind, so blind. Why burn me? The flames rise, the crosses given to the earth, vapors of me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You know how we do. We get a little deep with it. You know how we do over at the Unknowns podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, man, I really want to thank our guests for pulling up. You know, I really, you really messed me up with that whole bump, that whole sauce. I can hit it now. Hold up. That whole sauce situation. You just letting it blow in the wind. Shout out to the plants of the earth that help us thrive and stay strong. Yeah, but that y'all really had me fucked up. Like, that's real life out here.
What's it?
It just remind me of that movie. What's the name of that movie? Where they was in the movie theater and one person coughed and they just showed you how, and then somebody breathed it in and then another person coughed and then like how the disease was just, or the infection was spreading. What the fuck movie was that?
Was it an old joint?
It was a bad old joint. I don't know if it was the monkey disease, Joe.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the one where.
But humans
Morgan
get the
Freeman?
disease. I don't remember. I just remember the scene in the movie theater.
Or something like that.
No, that's the joint with
Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
nah.
No, this is the one
That
I'm
shit is
thinking of.
wild.
This is the one with
Contagion or something.
it's probably Contagion.
I don't know. That shit was crazy.
And they quarantined the town, and then was talking about napalm, and it came out in the 90s. That's the joint with Morgan Freeman.
Fuck it. We just go bob their ass. Like, it's just.
It's because they started shooting at him. They were like, "Look, that's literally the Division. 2020 is the Division, y'all. They saw everything."
The game?
Yes.
You're annoying.
Hold up though.
Hold on.
All right.
Not Spec Ops.
No, Spec Ops. No. That is something else. All right. So I've been meaning to make this reference for a while. I'll probably make a post about it later. The Division, which the first game came out like 3-4 years ago, and then the second one. So in the first game, a very real world simulation, and you probably know something about it, or have heard about it. Operation like Dark Winter or some shit. It was like the 2000s, early 2000s. The Pentagon and the DoD did a test to see how the U.S. government would respond to a pandemic of sorts on U.S. soil, and it was designed to get out of control. So it was set up to make them the worst possible situation go. And, of course, it was not good. I mean, in the end, with enough time, they bounced back. But in the end, it was more or less an abject failure, and just a bunch of heads of states died. And it was just, hey, okay, the not United States of America, great. So that was more or less the end of the exercise. And then the real world takes it to just the DHS, Homeland Security, Patriot Act, Obama and his responses to that, and then Trump dismantled it all. So in the game's response was Directive 51, where a bunch of they created an agency, the Division, which is this sort of independent CIA-esque group of agents who respond directly to the president in the event of a threat to the national security and continuity of government. So
The Republic.
more or less, it's when everything else failed and it failed miserably. These guys go in and try the Joes, the G.I. Joes. What are you talking about?
Oh
these,
my god!
Go ahead, my bad.
These guys are supposed to go in and as a more or less an independent grassroots sort of movement, put the country back together. Oh, you guys are breaking laws and stuff. Okay, stop. You're not stopping. Okay, now I'm going to kill you, and I can do it legally because the president said so. We're trying to put the country back together. That's a bleak way to look at it, but that's what they do. They're very much the CIA, but they're
very much the police.
Mm,
They sound just like the police.
Well, that's the joke. But
If you don't listen, I will shoot you.
I will shoot you.
You are no better than the police. Like, what
So-
the fuck is happening?
So that's the first game. The second game kind of goes somewhere else with it, but the joke I was making, because so I was at the protest. I've been out there.
Frontline.
ICE was out there. DHS was out there. The National Guard was out there. Active
so
Duty
we was
Army
making
was out
sure
there.
No Mexicans. Oh, excuse me. Shout out to Mexicans.
Was you out there with
we
your
was
gun?
making sure.
No, this was in this city, so no.
No, he was there.
The
to help
capital.
people.
The capital.
Without guns.
What you
without
call it?
an AR-15. He got a shotgun. By
Illegal.
I can't help nobody without no gun, fam.
Well, that's a conversation
You sound like
we
the
had.
guy who shot the other guy.
That's a
And
conversation
that's
we had
cool.
and a disagreement.
That's all good until you choose not to shoot the guy in his kneecaps, but in his chest where he dies.
Well, I mean, if he's
Also,
on you and he grabs your
if you
gun,
have a shotgun like this
that's
guy,
why I don't go to the dance.
if you have a
I
shotgun,
stay at the crib.
oh yeah, yeah.
but if you have a shotgun
You
like
at the
this
dance
guy,
though.
I am.
even if you shoot a guy in his leg, it's probably a wrap for that guy.
That's not what you shoot for, though.
No, if you're shooting
You
somebody,
shoot them for their hand,
no.
so they can't shoot guns.
You try to fight
I'm
them
not the
off.
police.
No.
Why are you gonna shoot him in his head?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's what the
Every
problem
time.
is. Listen, that's a whole nother
I
episode,
need to
y'all.
feel safe.
I swear.
Look, all right, but
I'm
let me
not
finish.
with
Let me
none of
finish.
this.
Let me finish.
No.
So
Who do you trust? Would or kill you?
everything.
Mobius's friends,
No,
obviously, and Chile's friends,
all medics.
obviously.
But no. So no. So here we are.
Horrible.
Bortak was probably out there, and the Border Patrol tactical team. The Bureau of Prison dudes were out there, and that made a big fuss because none of them were wearing any identification. And
Just
the
started
police, our police, was out there going, "Who the hell are these guys?" You know. So in the game, 7 months after the events of the first game, which start in New York and now takes place in DC, there's this organization called the Black Tusk, and they're basically Blackwater, but with an inflated budget. They've got DARPA dogs, they've got drones, they've got...
Shout out to nerds who know what Mobius is talking about, because
It parallels to what's happening all this year.
I mean,
All these agencies who
doubt
don't have markings, and they're watching us, and they're talking about arresting people. That's the Black Tusk. That's the joke. But it's happening, and it's effed up.
it's happening.
The Division, 2020. Same thing, basically.
That's a whole nother episode where we get into conspiracies in video games. Shout out to conspiracies. Shout out to video games. Shout out to the black hole. Who should you trust?
Not the doctor.
Fucking nobody. Don't trust nobody. Research everybody. Yelp them. I advise that you don't go to the doctor. You take any one doctor's advice, especially if you got some good health care. You better run up the health care check, because they ain't got no business charging people for health care in the first mother flipping place.
Go to Canada.
And so shit.
They don't care about
check
us.
it, double check it twice.
Go to Canada for that health care, y'all.
Y'all heard the shit we read earlier. Now it gets worse, okay? If you haven't started anally bleeding yet by the time that we're done with this episode, you might experience flu-like symptoms or enlarged breasts, nipple discharge. You may not be able to keep or get an erection. Listen, anything can happen if you listen to these doctors.
Flu.
Like, I can't, guys. I want the best for the brown community. Like, that's what we out here. You know what I'm saying? It's really unfortunate. I got one last story time.
So, is it mine or yours? Mine's just short.
It's mom's and mine.
Hi,
it's
Mom.
the same one. Shout out to my mother who told me that she went to the dentist and they was like, here, lay back, close your eyes. And I don't know whether they gassed her or whatever, but she made it seem like she didn't know what was going on. And then when she came back to, and she was like, what the y'all pulled the wrong tooth?
Oh, oof. On mothers.
That's why I was laughing.
What happened to me was I came in for a filling and they pulled my tooth.
Dang.
And I was like, what the
Can I get a haircut? And then they decapitate
at
you.
all. And so I wish I knew. Like, I knew in America, like, you could sue for anything and everything. But, like, I really thought because I was brown that I wasn't afforded that right. And so...
Well, you're not, because it's egregiously expensive.
Shout out to lawyers that only pay out that only make you pay if they win.
Yep.
Shout out to real sketchy lawyers. They take a lot more money up front, but it is what it is. All right, tell your story.
The masks story was...
you figured it out.
Yeah, it's the only one that was really relevant to this.
Shout out to COVID.
People not wearing masks in stores. I work at a store now. For now. You still got to write my letter too.
Shit.
I work in the store, and this dude in scrubs came in, and he didn't have his mask, and then a bunch of very angry people stopped him at the door and was like, "Yo, bro, where's your mask?" And then he was more or less escorted out by the manager after putting up a fuss, and then he vented at me, and I was like, well, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And he was like, screw that, I know what I'm talking about. And I was like, well, that's
Are you a scientist?
I was like, that's your opinion. And he was like, no, I'm a doctor. And I just kind of took it at face value. But then I was like,
you told me that.
I don't know if I told this story on the podcast before, but I was like,
no, you told me.
Okay, so then I was like, I should have asked him what kind of doctor, because there's just, I'm a doctor does not make you an expert in this particular field. And that was a moment, but he left, and he went and got his mask, and he put it on like a bitch. So, that was the end.
He had to shop. Fuckers, you was in the way. He had to handle his business. He was going to handle his business.
No, he was yelling at me about what they said to him, to then go to his car and put a mask on.
Like
and I'm
you
just
said,
like,
he was venting.
You know what?
Like you
He
said,
was venting, yeah.
You know what?
I had
That's
a savage
some
moment.
little dick shit.
He was annoying. Hey, look, y'all gotta hit us on the IG and get these LDS
Yes.
tank tops. You got to put money up. We need it. Get with the merch, the unknowns. Thank y'all for joining us again, man. Go ahead and answer that question. Why do you think brown people don't trust doctors? And do you know any hypochondriacs? Hit us on Instagram and let us know. Like,
you gotta come back for the next episode where we talk about mass hysterectomies. What is it?
hysterectomy?
Yes, ICE nurses, whistleblowers.
Shit, he's saying way too much.
Ooh,
like,
spoilers.
Man, thank you for being here on
Season
episode
2?
3.
Question mark. Let's go.
So annoying. Thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all. I really appreciate you, Chile, for being here. Do you have any last words? Rest in peace.
Rip.
Chile.
That is the pronunciation.
Oh my gosh. Rest in peace, COVID. All right, y'all. Keep it together. Stay loving your brown community and living the black experience.
Call your mom.
Until next time.
Do a barrel roll.